Who is Greubel Forsey? Today we're going to answer that question. Hey guys, it's your host Jack Tyler, and today I'm going to be going over a brand that we have just recently added to the watch salon here at Shreve, Crump Low. Now it's a brand that maybe not a lot of you have heard of, but we're really excited about it and we want to share some details of this incredible manufacturer with you. Greubel Forsey is a brand that was founded in 2004 by watchmakers Robert Greubel and Stephen Forsey. Robert had spent his early years working on watches for IWC and actually later became a partner at Audemars Piguet. Stephen, on the other hand, had been the head of watch and clock restoration at Asprey's in London between 1987 and 1992. After the pair had enough for working for other brands, they founded their own, Time, in 2001, with the sole focus being to create some of the most challenging movements and components specifically for other brands. Now, it wasn't until 2004 that Greubel Forsey really formed into a true company, with their first watch coming out at Baselworld in 2004, known as the Double Tourbillon 30 Degree. Now, it's great to know the history and all, but what's the philosophy behind these insane watches? Their ideology stems from something that they were told while going through watchmaking school, which is that everything in watchmaking that was possible had already been invented and done. Now, this didn't sit right with Robert and Stephen, and they set out to not only break the rules of watchmaking, but write some new ones along the way. Now, the watch we're featuring today really encapsulates a lot of the core elements of what modern Greubel Forsey is all about. Today, we have for you the Balancier Sport. Now, when looking at this watch through the macro lens, you can really start to understand the genius that goes into designing one of these masterpieces. Not only did Greubel Forsey take on the task of creating something new in the world of watchmaking, but they decided to perfect the art of finishing as well. Each component, both seen and unseen, is finished to the highest possible degree. It takes a painstaking 3 years to complete a Balancier Sport from start to finish. Let's start by looking at the movement, which is truly one of the most innovative features of this watch. Simply just have a look at the dial where the skeletonized movement proudly displays its enormous variable inertial balance wheel, churning away at a 30-degree angle to ensure accurate timing. And when we say enormous, we really mean it. The Balancier S features a 12.6mm balance wheel. This is one of the inventions that proves their former teachers wrong, showing us that something new is always around the corner. Hey guys, just wanted to take a quick break here and say thank you to our 600 plus subscribers that are tuning into the Shreve YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, please do us a favor and go ahead and hit that subscribe button now so that you can help us keep making watch content for you guys. Getting into the finishing of this watch, let's take a closer look at how incredibly detailed every single component of this watch really is. And in my opinion, this is where Greubel Forsey really stands head and shoulders above its competition. Their techniques used to polish, brush, and detail each individual component are truly second to none. You can see here the dial is an abstract combination of traditional hours, minutes, and seconds with the barrels and gears on full display beneath. We also have a power reserve neatly tucked away into the top of the dial. The amount of interior angles used in this watch are countless and breathtaking. You can truly lose yourself looking at this thing. On the back of the watch, we see the beautifully decorated base plates that hold it all together. The style of finishing is very different than that of classical Swiss brands like Patek Philippe, and the use of granular textures and hard lines is a big departure from the Perlange and Geneva stripes of the past. Overall, I think Greubel Forsey has set a new standard when it comes to finishing. They are decidedly modern while still using the foundational techniques laid down by the masters before them. Unlike other manufacturers, Greubel Forsey does not tier their finishing levels, which means that anytime you're buying a Greubel, you are receiving the absolute highest level of finishing possible. Now, unfortunately, this is not the case for all brands. Some of them use a system where more entry-level pieces are finished to a lower degree than the higher-end models. It's refreshing to me to see a brand that puts their best foot forward, regardless of any model, on every single piece that they decide to release. The case of this watch is truly spectacular, appearing round when viewed head-on and almost cushion-shaped from other angles. Each visible surface has been expertly finished with a multitude of interesting textures and polishing techniques. The entire case is curved to fit the wrist, which brings us to a very important point about the Balancier S. This watch wears like a dream. Even on my somewhat small wrists, this watch is totally at home. Combined with the smooth integration of the strap to the case, the watch almost feels like it's melting on your wrist. The variable geometry on display is striking and beautiful all at the same time, and it also has the effect of making this 44mm watch, which is something that I probably wouldn't normally try on, feel almost like a 42. Now if you're curious about sizing and you're in the Boston area, of course we welcome you to stop by our Newbury Street salon so that you can try this one on yourself. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to a general overview of pricing for this watch, and you might want to be sitting down for this one. The Balancier S comes in at a whopping $225,000 at retail, which places it in the same realm as Richard Mille and other leading independent brands. Now, when it comes to competition, there are brands that do things differently, but it's hard to argue that anybody does it better than Greubel. On the face of it, $225,000 for a watch sounds, well, insane. But when you factor in the time it takes to design and produce this watch, you start to understand that this watch is more akin to a work of art than just a timepiece. Now at this level of watchmaking, buyers aren't just looking to buy a watch that simply tells the time. They're looking to invest in the artisans, the craftsmanship, the stories that keep this industry so fun and exciting. Like in fashion, design influence comes from the top and trickles down to the mainstream, and if it wasn't for innovators like Greubel Forsey, then I think the state of watchmaking would be a very dull place to be indeed. So whether you're someone who's actually looking to pick up their first Greubel, or just a fan of high horology on an innovative level, I think that there's something for everyone to admire and take away from these incredible timepieces from Greubel Forsey. If you're interested in Greubel Forsey or just watches in general, head over to our website shrevecrumpandlow.com to view all of the watches that we currently have in stock. We'd also like to cordially invite you to visit us in our Boston or Greenwich stores just to talk watches or experience some of the watches in the metal. Well folks, that just about wraps up today's video, so please smash that like, comment, and subscribe button if you haven't already, and thanks again for spending a little time with us today.